Hello everybody, GL1 here. Welcome to the premier online toy museum. And today I'm going to talk to you about some of the new ceratopsians that have come out lately. In fact, a lot of dinosaurs have been coming out, and a lot of them are hard to find, but your buddy GL1 is very good at finding dinosaurs. I go on dinosaur hunts and I find them. Now, additionally, I was replacing an exhaust system today on my truck, and I did my best to clean my hands off, but some of the glue and everything with the exhaust, it just, it's hard to remove, and I don't want to use harsh chemicals, so apologize for some of the black marks on my hands. All right, so going to start with Triceratops. So we've seen Triceratops before, and this is one of the larger Triceratops models from Mattel, from the Jurassic Park world. Triceratops was around all the way to the end of the dinosaurs, from 83.5 million to 66 million years ago when the meteor struck. Triceratops is the largest ceratopsian that we've found so far. It weighed anywhere between the weight of an elephant, an African male elephant, 13,000 pounds, to double that, to 26,000 pounds. They were found in North America. The toys never represent the actual size Triceratops could get to. They really only make the toy half the size. It should be significantly larger than a T-Rex in terms of mass. T-Rex was 14,000 to 18,000 pounds, and you can tell from this toy, this is not as big as the T-Rex toys. But anyway, that's what we have. Now there's Eotriceratops, which has come out recently. It's a very cute ceratopsian, I think. And the fella only got to stick around for about 4 million years, from 70 to 66 million years ago. But on average was quite large, 22,000 pounds. So again, put that in scale to an elephant, it's about 7,000 pounds heavier than an elephant. So it's like, take a male African elephant and add a large hippopotamus, and that's what you get. So, all right, the toy's pretty cool too. You rotate the tail, and it's got like stompy feet, which is cool. And what's cool about Eoceratops also is it's got these horns over here. So if you try to get down there and bite the neck, it could stick you with the horn. And it's, let's see, has some, you can move the legs, has like a ratchet in the legs. And if you move the tail up and down, he can have, like he can hit you with his horns. So that's a pretty cool toy that's come out. And you can squeeze the frill. Now, the dinosaurs that are related to Triceratops are different than the ones to my right. These, if you'll note, have really long horns that are further away from their eyes, and their frills actually are solid. So if you go to a museum and you see the skeletons, you're going to see that the Triceratops frills are solid. Now, these guys over here, these are related to the Chasmosaurus. And so a couple of these have come out recently. So this is Chasmosaurus, and I've actually seen this in a museum. It is about the size of a rhinoceros. And that's about how much it weighs. It's 4,000 pounds, so that's the size of a pretty good size rhinoceros. And its frill has all these spikes around it. On the skull in the museum, they're actually kind of worn down, but you can still tell they're there. And if you'll note, you see this here, this section, this is actually hollow on the skeleton. So it has these bones that create a frame, and then it has skin there. Now, you'll also note that the horns are not really long, and they go right over the eyes. Whereas if we look at a ceratopsian, Triceratopsian, you can see the horns are more on the forehead and much longer in proportion to the body. So this was also found in Canada. Now, this is Kosmoceratops. so these are all they're all ceratopsians, but this is the Chasmosauridae line. All right, so this is 76 million years ago, so about 10 million years before the dinosaurs all died out. It was contemporary with Chasmosaurus. And this was about the size of a quarter horse. So it's about 1,500 pounds. So maybe a little bit heavier than some. But, again, a big animal. And you'll note that it doesn't really have a horn here, but it does have those horns right there down by the cheek, kind of like this Chasmosaur here. And then you have the horns that, kind of curl over, right? Instead, these, you see, they curve up. And so the horns come in lots of different shapes, and so these kind of curl down. We don't know if that's, sexual dimorphism, like maybe males and females are different, or, is it about jousting for mating rights or just display? But what I want you to note is how these spikes here that are attached to its frill are folded down. And you also have these, this is also kind of cool, is that you have the frill spikes going outward, like the recently discovered last year, I think early this year, Regaliceratops has horns that go out like that too on the frill. And you can look that up, Regaliceratops, and that's a big one too. They haven't made a toy of that. So this is one of the new ones that just came out, Spiclypeus. Now you can see there this show on YouTube, part of the Land of Giants, and they're going to they're going to touch on a lot of the latest dinosaur discoveries, including Spiclypeus, and it's called "Why Did 150 Million Year Old Fossil Terrify Paleontologists?" That's the name of the show, and it's part of the Land of Giants programming, okay? But so here you go. So take a look at this guy here. So yeah, he makes a noise. So they have him that he was only around, actually, I said 76 to 75, but they really only have him around, they discovered, like 100,000 years, which, it's kind of like Solomon Grundy, Solomon Grundy, born on Monday, died on Tuesday, buried on Wednesday, something like that. So it wasn't around very long. But if you'll note too, the horns are really small in comparison to the body of the dinosaur. And of course its nose horn is, just really minute. But you do have those spikes on the frill again. And this is not really represented that well on the toy, but this folds over quite a bit. It's actually a separate piece, and it folds over, and then you have horns going out this way. So, what's the point of that? Maybe it's just for looks, And you could see here it has like a tuft of, I would think they're kind of like feathers, because a lot of dinosaurs were feathered. Now I don't know whether they found this on Spiclypeus, but they did find a ceratopsian in Alaska, part of the ice dinosaur discovery, and you can look that up, Alaskan ice dinosaurs. And there's a ceratopsian that doesn't have any horns, but they did find actually an imprint of it having these little tough feathers on the back there. So it's possible that many or all ceratopsians had that. When it comes to the toys, what they're doing is they're just kind of I think they're talking to scientists and getting, some ideas of it may or may not have this, and they just put it on some of the toys, and some of the toys they don't. All right, and then there's Regaliceratops. He's also, yes, very angry, and it's also a Chasmosaurus. And, you're going to know when you see a ceratopsian that's related to a Chasmosaurus from now on by the small horns, relatively small horns over the eyes compared to a Triceratops-related dinosaur. And this one has a really long nose horn. Also, the Chasmosaurids were known for having a lot of spikes around their frills. That's another clue. So they're smaller, the horns are smaller, but you can also see when they have really ornate spikes on their horns. So this guy was 4,500 pounds, which is the size, again, of a large rhino, so pretty big dinosaur, found in Canada, and 68 to 67 million years ago. This toy is actuated by a lever, and then it makes the head go in and noise. So turn the head and make the head go in. So pretty complicated. So it's really neat how they try different things with the toys. You know, like this guy, you know, it's just a button here. I mean, this, of course, it costs a lot less, like $8 or something, you know, simpler toy. But anyway, all right, so that is the recent ceratopsians, the finds that you can find in a store. There's also Nauticeratops, but I did a show on that. If you look back on my ceratopsians through my shows, look up Dinosaur Education in my playlist. You can see I've done a lot on I did a whole 2 shows on ceratopsians, and they just reissued the Nauticeratops. All right, so thanks for watching, and I will be back right away. Take care.